They say good things come in small packages. Our news today are a lot of small news, but not less important because of that. Welcome, you're watching Rum, the channel sharing the joy of sim racing, and our regular news roundup, our weekly sim racing news. Thanks to all those who come here often, especially those who subscribe, and even more, our patrons. My name is Serta and I will be your host for this video. No big story this week, just assorted small ones, but lots of them. I won't keep you waiting. Here they come. While almost all sims lost average daily users by a sometimes minimal margin, the overall number was better than in January. Where did they all go? Of course, we'll have to see if the numbers for Le Mans Ultimate stay that high, but this is an impressive start for a sim. Let's hope for the sake of Studio 397 that they stay at that level. We'll be able to see some trends within LMU in a couple of months. Now everyone is on a honeymoon phase with it, at least those who got it to run or to run smoothly. Speaking about honeymoon, Automobilista 2 was able to keep their higher than average numbers, and while they dropped from their highest peak in last month, they still are impressive compared to the numbers Automobilista 2 had pulled until now. All the other usage numbers for the other sims dropped by a little bit, nothing catastrophic, and the number for Dirt Rally 2 even climbed a bit, but those numbers always seem to yo-yo between 900 and a bit more than 1000 daily average users. In contrast to the Dirt Rally 2 numbers, EA Sports trademark WRC's numbers have been in a steady decline since it came out. Automobilista 2 has moved to 1.61 in closed beta, and we don't expect to be able to share anything until the next planned big bang, so we're just letting you know it's moving and there is stuff happening. F124 has been announced with a planned release of May 31st, and if you're foolish enough to want to pre-buy it now, you'll pay 15% less than the asking price. If you already own F123, 22 or 21. We recommend you wait 3 months after release, then you'll only have to pay 50% of the asking price. At least that's the way it went last year. Speaking of releases, next Tuesday sees the release of Expeditions, a Mud Runner game, and we'll see a release of our review of it. So subscribe if you're interested. And if you're searching for a job in the land of vodka and sauna, Simocube are searching for a hardware designer. See the link in the description of our video. Man, Simocube are really growing, aren't they? Rennsport plan to do another town hall. Only the hall will be empty and you will only get to see whatever they decide to show you, as the event will not be public, will be pre-recorded and will only be dropped into YouTube in due time. Our journalistic spidey senses tingle when we hear something like that, as it could mean Rennsport wants to filter questions and answers, and that is something we always regard very critically, as in, if you are afraid of the question, should we be afraid of the answer? We of course reached out to Rennsport, who assure us it's only because they don't trust the technical side of the town hall, as they want to film it from now on. They are slightly changing the concept and don't trust technology. Wise of them. Okay, we'll wait with bated breath. You may or may not know that the world's biggest mobile technology fair just took place in Barcelona. One of the gadgets there was a simulator letting you drive the newest electric hypercar coming from Hispano-Suiza in the historic track of Montjuic, which was the place where many Spanish Formula 1 races took place in the 1970s. Hispano-Suiza was a Spanish car company founded in 1904 that delivered very beautiful cars in its time, and a brand that has been revived to sell electric hypercars since 2009. From what we could gather in the press release, it's a self-built simulator, but it could have been Assetto Corsa. And is that a Fanatic base? Unluckily, we could not find the technical details of the sim, as Hispano Suiza's goal is to create a buzz for their Carmen Bologna car. An electric hypercar with ridiculous power and speed numbers. Mate, I don't want to drive 290 km/h. I want to drive 3 times 290 km without having to reload the battery. Cammus this week released their newest product into the market. The C12 is based on the idea of the C5. The motor is, so to speak, inside of the wheel and delivers 12 Nm of torque and force feedback quality. While we have the wheel here, there was a small technical issue that hindered us to test it, which we hope will be resolved next week, and then we'll be able to tell you if it's as good as it sounds. Again, subscribe so you don't miss it. In any case, Cammus says you can change the wheel of the C12, and with a price of €550 USD, this wheel is a strong contender, not only as entry level, but as everyday wheel, as most sim drivers don't need more than 12 Nm. This week saw only one update of Le Mans Ultimate, and it was rather small. You now won't DNF if you restart a race during a race weekend. A rating bug that would double the ratings loss or the ratings gain has also been corrected, and the correction to a technical issue may mean updates from Steam take longer to download. Assetto Corsa mod makers Race Sim Studio have released the Formula RSS 2010 V8 mod, fully compatible with the custom shaders patch and even support for the F-duct, a small aerodynamic idea that gave drivers an advantage, especially on straights, but was forbidden for the following season. The mod can be yours for £4 or equivalent. Nakon presented the games they are working on right now with different release dates, and among those was not a rally game, which would have been expected as they had the WRC license since shortly and might have done a better job than EA, but an endurance game. What you are seeing right now are the only images we have, which is no surprise as the sim won't be released until 2025. At least we suppose it's going to be a sim. It could be a racing game around the world of endurance racing for all we know right now. Seems it's going to be called Endurance Motorsport Series. We wonder why they didn't call it something with Le Mans in the title. Hey, it even has a Steam page where you can already wishlist it. See the link in the description below. Meta, Facebook, whatever is posed to steal your money and your apps that you may have on your Oculus account unless you move it to your Meta, Facebook, whatever account. That's right, they are sucking your soul into the bloodless, lifeless corpse of Facebook to inflate user numbers by forcing everyone to give up their Oculus account. Or else. Because Oculus and all accounts still laying there will be closed by the end of this month. Any Oculus device is a Meta, Facebook, whatever device now. You have been warned. With the typical amount of fanfare and marketing bullshit iRacing all too often bores us with in the press releases, contrary to their release notes, which are great and to the point, iRacing let us know this week they are adding TCR racing to the sim. After the sad demise of the WTCR, there are still mostly national TCR races featuring front-wheel driven touring cars. The first step within iRacing will be to give the already existent TCR cars, Audi RS3 LMS, Hyundai Elantra N, Hyundai Veloster N and Honda Civic Type R a TCR branding, and to change the name of the series where these compete to iRacing TCR Virtual Challenge. Both easy and cheap changes. They keep very vague about any further expansion of the roster or the cooperation, blathering about excitement and whatnot, but committing to nothing. Time will tell, of course, as they say in the press release, they are going to have further conversations about additional ways to expand the partnership. But we have to commend iRacing for their very calculated shopping spree. Contrary to motorsport games, they have been backing up their licenses with fitting actions, and from the looks of it, run no risk of going bust anytime soon. Good for them.